Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? We are doing Married at First Sight. Back on camera. The peeling is pretty much done. Still a little bit peeling here and there, but I'm back. Your girl is back. And I wanted to talk about Married at First Sight. I'm a little late. I'm going to get back on schedule because I would love to have this video out by Thursday, right after the episode. But life be lifing, and that's just all I'm gonna say on that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm absolutely April. I do recaps on reality shows, movies, whatever moves me. I come here to talk about it because y'all my people. So if you are down for something like that, go ahead and subscribe, join the tribe. It's all a vibe. Also, hit the like button if you are, enjoying the video. If you get anything out of the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Share with a friend. Anybody you know who watches Married at First Sight and has some opinions, share with them so they can come in and join in on the fun. And while you're at it, smash the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. So yeah, we are on episode 4. We are getting into the thing. And I don't know if y'all noticed, the episode was only an hour and a half. And usually Married at First Sight is about 2 hours. And then on top of that is a 30-minute after party. It was only an hour and a half, so maybe the producers are listening and understanding that the show is lasting too long. They be having too stuff in there that doesn't even matter. So I don't know. Maybe they're listening. Who knows? But producers, if you're out there, yes, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. I know I appreciate it because when I was done with my notes, I was like, oh, it's over. So yeah, I really like that, and I enjoyed this episode so far. I'm enjoying season 16 better than I did 15. I'm liking the couple so far. So it's a vibe. I'm enjoying it. So there we have it. Comment down below. Did y'all notice about there was only like an hour and a half? And if so, how you like it? Let me know. Let your girl know. So let's get into the episode. Now we start out with Shaquille and Kirsten. So Shaquille and Kirsten. Let me make it a little bit bigger for y'all. There we go. So there's Shaquille and Kirsten. This picture trips me out because he looks like he's like in some type of heaven, just having her around, just having her lay on him. But y'all, I feel like Kirsten enjoys him. She sees, she likes him, but the attraction isn't there. And she just can't seem to get herself to the point where she can even let down her walls with him. But hopefully, if they keep going on this trajectory where they really enjoy each other's company, maybe she'll kind of let some of those walls down and let him in and be a little bit more PDA with him, hold his hand, kiss him on the cheek at least. So Shaquille does carry Kirsten over the threshold for their suite. Shaquille, says he feels like it's the day he always imagined. I mean, you can look in the picture, look at him. He is in euphoria, y'all. So Kirsten takes a deep breath, and then she was like, she wants to she says, I want to make it work. And he's like, because it's a lot, and I just need to get to know him. So she, I don't think that's the response that he was looking for because he was like, why are you saying it like that? She's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. We still got to get to know each other. So now, y'all remember, Kirsten has been saying if he asked for a kiss, she would have been more willing to give a kiss. So now Shaquille asked for a kiss, and guess what? She didn't give him no kiss. She did not give him a kiss. She's just not attracted to him. She doesn't want to kiss him right off. She's not feeling the butterflies to want to do that. We all know that Kirsten is, I don't think she's a prude or anything, but I guess she just has to have that love and feeling. You got that love and feel. Y'all know that song? But anyways, I love the 80s movies. But anyways, Kirsten, she's just not feeling it. So even when he asked for a kiss, he still didn't get it, but he was okay with it. She wants the emotional connection. But Shaquille said, he doesn't expect to have sex, because, they are still strangers. But, Kirsten was making it seem like if they have a kiss, that it was going to go further for them. And it wasn't. She's just not into him. She's just not that into him, unfortunately. But attraction can grow. And even though he's not her type for right off, I think he could grow. I feel like they're going to get along if she gives it a chance. So we'll see. So now we're on to Dom and McKinley. So Dom and McKinley, they're having a good time with each other. Let's see. This is when here they are. So Dominique, I keep calling her Dom. I don't know. But Dominique asked Matt, if he snores, and he says he believes on occasions he might talk in his sleep, but he don't really think he snores. So, they're talking about snoring and sleeping. I think she says she snores a little bit. So, they're making the nice little cutesy conversation. And again, I can't with Dominique's ill-fitting wedding dress. I just don't know why she didn't put the time into it. And by the looks of her mom and grandma, I would have thought that they would have made sure it fit her like a glove, but it does not. So Matt McKinley, he says that Dominique is gorgeous, he's definitely attracted to her, he's loving her, and Dominique says she's not nervous to be around him, like she feels comfortable with him, and they plan on going with the flow. So far so good with these two, but of course the previews say something different. So we shall see what happens. I feel like their philosophical differences are going to cause an issue. She still likes to kind of party. He's more like a Netflix and chill kind of guy. So I feel like that's going to be some of their clashes. And he's a little bit older than her, so he may, and she's a little bit more spunky. So those are things that they're going to have to work through. Or may be difficult for them to work through. So I can't wait to see what causes the rift between them two or causes their issues, because I really think it's going to be a, preference, of what I like to do versus what she likes to do. And she wants to hang out with her friends. He wants to spend time. So I'm going to see, if that's going to be the situation between these two, but I'm not really sure. So we're going to go to Jasmine and what is his name? Aerys. Now, Aerys gets on my nerves. I don't think I have a picture of them. But so, Jasmine and Aerys, they are, I'm just going to put this up while I talk about them. But Jasmine and Aerys, he said he feels thankful for the experts. Jasmine definitely says she's attracted to him. Aerys says he's tired, but if she has plans, he thinks he can muster up some energy. I'm pretty sure you can, Aerys. I'm pretty sure you can, because he said, he gonna tell his wife to get on her knees. So anywho, so Jasmine is taking all her makeup off, and she's thinking like, I hope he still likes me without my makeup on, because I'm all dolled up at this point. So is he gonna like me when I take my makeup off? Don't worry about that, Jasmine. You look good. Go in there with the confidence. So she comes out of the bathroom after she takes, her wedding dress off, takes the day off, take off of her makeup and all things of that nature. And she comes out in some lingerie, some lingerie, y'all. She comes out in her lingerie. She, she has a nice physique. So she, she's feeling good about herself. And Aerys perks up. I wish I had a picture of Jasmine in her lingerie. She looked very, very good. And, I think if Jasmine wanted to get down, Aerys wouldn't have put up no fight, because she was looking like a snack. And so Aerys, and her, they kind of get the snuggling, she's laying on his chest and stuff. So he seems to be into it so far. We're going to see how Aerys goes. I have a bone to pick with Aerys, but we're going to talk about that later. So now we're at Gina and Clint. Ooh, Jesus. Someone help Gina and Clint. It's not even Gina, it's dang on Clint. Clint just gives me the creep sometimes. So I have a picture of, the reason why I say he kind of gives me the creeps a little bit. Here it is. So yeah, this is him. Clint says he's excited about the day, and he's happy. And they talk about being happy about the family getting along. So everything as far as their family, they're getting along. I think Gina is trying to make do with this. I know she's not really attracted to him, but I think she's trying to push through because she doesn't want to, she wants to see, where this is going to go. But I already know she ain't attracted to him, but he's attracted. And Clint tells Gina that, she has exceeded his expectations and he wants to, Clint is down to explore the physical attraction. I mean, look at him, y'all. Look at him on this picture. He like, if she would have jumped on top of him, he wouldn't have refused. So yeah, Clint is always ready for a good time because, mind you, he is the same person who said he had 65 partners, which we did not even have to know, but he's counted them all. He has 65 partners, give or take. So Clint wants to explore their physical attraction, and he says, if things escalate, then game on. Of course, look at him. I don't know if Clint is ready for a marriage. I think Clint just wants a sex. He just wants to have sex with somebody. I don't see him wanting to really delve into marriage. I'm not getting marriage vibe from Clint. I just feel like, hey, I'm on a show. I'm that party guy. I'm that nice guy, that I'm that guy that likes to be the life of the party. He likes to, have his women. I don't get that from Clint. And I don't know what women like Clint because first of all, I still stand by it. I don't believe Clint is just 40. He reads older to me. So whatever. So Aerys and Jasmine, the scene goes back to Aerys and Jasmine. I don't have that photo, but so Aerys asks, they're waking up. So Aerys asks, what's his cuddle game? And she rates it about a 9. So he says, I got to do a little better. I got to get to that 10 on his cuddle game. So, but, she laid on his chest, looked like she laid on it all night. So that's good. I personally, if it were me, I don't mind cuddling. But at some point in the night, I got to get on my side. Comment down below if y'all like that. I cannot cuddle all night long and be on top of somebody. Like their body, I just need my space. I don't want to be up under you all night long. And my son, when he sleeps with me, he is up under me all night long and I cannot sleep good. Like I cannot get a good rest. I already sleep light. So every time he moves, I wake up. My husband, same way as my son, he loved to be right up under me. And then on top of that, he had a lot of body heat. So I would be hot, couldn't hardly sleep. I cannot cuddle all day long. Now I can give you a good, until I get real tired, I can give you the best that I got for about a good couple hours. But when it's time to go to sleep, I need to kind of get in my position on my stomach, one leg up, all that type of stuff so I can really get in a good sleep. But that's just me. But she, Jasmine looked like she stayed on his chest all night long. So back to Clint and Gina. Clint is in shock that they didn't have, he's still in shock and about the whole day and where they are and get married at first sight. And he says they didn't have sex, but he definitely wanted to. Of course, we know that, Clint. We already know that you wanted to. So Clint and Gina, they're talking about, their wake up, how they wake up and stuff like that. So Clint says he wakes up with enormous amount of energy at 5:30. He's ready to go. He's talking and all that stuff. Again, that would not work for me, Clint. That would not work for me. Gina says, she has left to work from. She also says she wakes up with energy. So they are a perfect match. My husband was the one who woke up with energy. I'm not that one. I don't really like talking when I first wake up. I'm kind of like, give me a few moments to kind of get myself centered and then we could talk. But just get up and start talking. You're probably going to get a few little one-word answers out of me. And then once I get together, then I can, have a conversation. So both Gina and Clint, they are morning people. So that's perfect for them. Gina, starts talking about work again. So Gina, sweet pea, you are going to have to stop talking about work. But she says she's left her work phone and she wants to relinquish some of that control. That's exactly why you hire people, and that's why you have to let go of the reins. So Gina, for the rest of this honeymoon, try not to talk about work. Try not to get so engaged in work because we want you to really be present in what's going on. And maybe she's talking about work because she's just not invested in the Clint. I don't know, but she does need to kind of pull back on the work talk a little bit. So we're now back to Kirsten and Shaquille. Kirsten, fell asleep talking to Shaquille. She said he was talking and she got to the point where she was just like, so she would, got to the point, they talked, the night away. And I could see Shaquille being a type of guy who could really, really talk and and really get things going and, want to, talk about his life story, and he could just stay up and just talk. Me, I'm kind of like Kirsten, like I'll do it for a little bit, but once I'm sleepy, I will fall asleep on you. So she said, Kirsten said she felt comfortable sleeping with him. So A plus for that. She felt comfortable. And I don't think he weirds her out or makes her feel uncomfortable. She's just not attracted. I get friend vibes when I see them. They seem like they would be the best of friends. And sometimes great relationships and great marriages, the foundation is friendship. So, I mean, Kirsten, give him a chance. Go on, honey, give him a chance. Who knows what movie that came from? Go ahead, honey, give him a chance. 80s again. So, yeah. So she says she has, says they have not, they have more conversations before they even think about sex. So no, it did not go down for them. And we all knew. She didn't even have to tell us. We knew it wasn't going down between them two. But she says they didn't feel like strangers. So again, there is a light at the end of the tunnel for Kirsten. Maybe, moving towards affection with Shaquille. But we hope, we can only pray. So Kirsten asked, Shaquille about his nighttime routine. And Shaquille says he likes to bathe, brush his teeth. He's a big person on teeth. But before he gets in his bed, he wants to bathe. And I agree. Whenever I'm getting in the bed, I don't know, sleep feels like it just hits different when you bathe before you get in the bed. Now, all the times it may not happen where I can bathe before I get in the bed. But things, sometimes you just fall asleep and you wake up and you're like, where am I? So that, those cases, no, but when you do fall asleep and, bathe before you go to sleep, it's a great feeling. He says he's a big person on teeth and everything, but Kirsten says, I don't always brush my teeth at night. So he's kind of like, what? But again, sometimes things happen where you don't, you may fall asleep and don't get to brush your teeth. I don't see that as a red flag, but if she just didn't go days without brushing her teeth, then I'd be like, Kirsten, what you doing now? What are you doing? So yeah, but especially, when you are in the bed with somebody, I like to kind of brush my teeth at night because you don't really wake up with as much morning breath, and you don't want to be, especially if you about to go to Pound Town and you don't want to be huffing and puffing and you haven't brushed the teeth. But I'm pretty sure Kirsten brushes her teeth, like if she knows she about to get down with the get down. So now we're back at Dom and McKinley. Dominique and McKinley. I keep calling her Dom. But McKinley says, Dominique did definitely snore that night. So it kind of kept him up a little bit, but he made a little jokey joke about it. So it wasn't that serious. He did say that they did not have sex. And I feel like if Dominique was in a certain mindset, I feel like she probably would have been down for it. Now, would she have wanted them to talk about it? I don't think she would have wanted him to broadcast it because she knows her mom and grandma and them were watching. But I think Dominique would do it on the first night. I definitely do think she would. Dominique says McKinley, she feels like so far he's nice and thoughtful. So McKinley asked Dominique if she can cook. So she said, I live by myself. I could do a little something. So she rattles off some of the things that she cooked. And of course, spaghetti and she catfish and everything like that. And so, Dominique asked if he, McKinley has ever eaten catfish. And he says he has not. So, Dominique, she's very adamant about her man being a country guy and like a man's man type guy who's going to kind of don't mind getting dirty. So she kind of looked funny when she found out that he didn't eat catfish. So she was like, I got to fry you up some catfish. So, and I've had catfish before. It's not my favorite fish. So it's not like I have to have catfish. But yeah, I mean, some people just don't eat catfish. Like, my husband didn't eat catfish. He was a Muslim, so they don't eat like certain type of fish. So yeah, I don't think it's a red flag, but she was making it seem like it was something, like he don't like to get his hands dirty and this and that. But I think he works in construction, so I'm pretty sure he likes to get his hands dirty. But I think she was kind of looking at him with a side eye when she found out he didn't eat catfish. But yeah, catfish is not my favorite fish, but if it's made good, catfish is very good. So now we're at Nicole and Chris. Nicole says that she usually doesn't sleep in bed because of she doesn't eat in the bed because of the dog hair and because they're both dog parents. So she enjoys having her dog sleep in the bed with her, and so does Chris. So she said usually I can't eat in bed because of all the dog hair. So Chris, he acknowledges the same thing. So she's like, well, let's go ahead and eat now that we are away from the dogs. Let's go ahead and, take this time to make sure we eat in bed and enjoy it. So they were eating in bed and talking. I really like this couple, y'all. They really, so far, they're having those conversations. They are being vulnerable with each other. They're being intentional with each other, and I enjoy seeing them when they come on the screen. I like to see them, and this is kind of what I feel like Married at First is all about. At First Sight is all about is making those connections despite attractions and what's on the outward appearances, but. Chris thinks she's the bee's knees. He likes Nicole. He told her she's gorgeous with or without makeup. She's gorgeous. Like he's really, painted on thick. And I don't think he's being disingenuous or anything. I think he's being totally honest. I feel like he feels like she's gorgeous, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he wants to tell her and make her feel good. And she's sopping it up like some gravy. She's sopping it up. So she asks if he likes to share food, and Chris says, I don't mind sharing food and stuff like that. And, as he's telling her how beautiful she is without makeup, she starts to cry because she just never had anybody treat her as well as Chris is treating her so far. And every time I see that, my heart just, goes out to Nicole because, she's just seemed like she's really had some terrible relationships, which is very unfortunate. So now we're back at Jasmine and Aerys. Aerys, asks Jasmine how she feels waking up as a wife, and Aerys sees Jasmine, eating bacon, and he had to comment on her eating swine. Now, one thing I don't like is when people have an issue with my food and they have to make comments on like, ew, I cannot stand if I'm eating something and I'm enjoying my food and you look at like, ew, how you can eat that? Like, I don't like that. That gets under my skin. You worry about your plate and I worry about mine. You don't have to eat what I'm eating. Thank you. So yeah, he talks about her eating swine, and he's a vegetarian or something, or pescatarian. I don't know exactly what it is, but he does not like. He doesn't eat meat. I know he doesn't eat pork and beef. I'm not sure about the chicken, but he does not eat meat. So Aerys is going to meet with Jasmine's brother and her father, and I believe her mother. And so Jasmine is going to meet with the meddling cousin, Felina, who gets on my nerves. Like, she just can't shut up for anything, but she always got to say what she got to say. So yeah, she's going to be meeting with she's going to meet with her Felina, the cousin, another cousin, and his mom. So our prayers go out for Jasmine in this whole interaction. So Kirsten goes and meets with Shaquille. She meets with Shaquille's family, and Shaquille meets with her friends and I believe a cousin. So Kirsten meets with Shaquille's friend India and his uncle, I believe that was, and she talks about her red flags for Shaquille was, how busy he was, and she was trying to figure out how she fits into his schedule with how busy he is. So that's a good thing that she's concerned about, being able to bond with him, because this is not a traditional way of meeting somebody and being in a relationship. So the time is going to be of the essence, and spending that quality time is definitely going to be of the essence. So I'm glad that where Kirsten's thought process is on that, because it feels like she's recognizing that, okay, I need you, we're going to have to spend time together, get to know each other if we're going to make this work. So Shaquille meets with Kirsten's cousin, Takina, who wants to make sure that Shaquille is definitely being intentional. Shaquille, says this process kind of fell in his lap. This is not something he went out and sought out, but it kind of like he kept seeing the signs. Like I think he saw advertisements and signs, and he said, "Well, let me go ahead and do it and see what happens." So things just kept popping up for him. So he might be a person who takes heed to different signs. So Kirsten's friend Jasmine, says, what if, Jasmine just doesn't fall in your lap and be exactly the way you would want her to be? I mean, I'm sorry, Kirsten is not, what if she's not exactly how you want to be, how she just doesn't fall in your lap? Maybe what if you have to work a little bit harder? Are you going to be willing to do it? And he, of course, he says he will be. And she says, well, what if Kirsten is more reserved after the honeymoon? And sometimes you're going to have to do what you have to do, like kind of be consistent with her to get her to open up, because she is more reserved and she may not just be forthcoming with her affection for him. So he's going to have to show some consistency. So I understand, they know her. They did come off a little strong in my opinion, but I get it. They were being protective over their girl, but the girl has to also do some work, because he can only work with what he got. And so if they don't give him, if Kirsten doesn't give him like any leeway and seem like she's into him, or try to be a little bit vulnerable with him, then he's gonna get tired. Like he can't keep running and running and running, and she doesn't seem to acquiesce, or she doesn't seem to be accommodating for him. She has to, as much as he puts in, she also has to put in. So moving on to McKinley and Dominique. Dominique McKinley meets with Dominique's family, and they ask if if he's been engaged. He said he hasn't, but for some reason when he said it, in my spirit, I felt he was lying in my spirit. So he said he has not gotten married. So the grandma asked, how has he not been? Because with all the thirsty women out here, I can't believe that one of them didn't trap you. And I'm like, Grandma, everybody ain't out here thirsty, and he may not want them thirsty people, but he said he has standards, and he's waiting on the real deal. So again, they asked him about dating outside of their race, and who has he dated? And he says he's mostly dated Latina and white women. He just hasn't had the luck with the Black women, but he has dated out, other women outside of his race. So grandma says, and she's old school and she probably seen some things. She says, I want to make sure he's going to stick beside him if an issue arises. And thank you, grandma. Thank you. Power to the people. Because I'm saying, it's a way that when you feel left out or feel like the odd man out, and she's not trying to have that for her granddaughter where she feels less than because of her complexion or the color of her skin or her race or ethnicity. She doesn't want her granddaughter to feel less than, and she shouldn't. But I don't think she's gonna feel like that. I don't think it's going to be anything to do with her race. I feel like if Dominique gets anything, it's going to be because of this process. You could tell McKinley's mom is definitely not feeling him finding a wife in this type of a process. So that, if anything, is going to be their drawback. I don't see it being a big issue. So Dominique meets with McKinley's family. So as soon as they sit down, the shady cameraman pans over to the mother, and the mother is giving her the look of death. Like, she is giving her the side eye of all side eyes. Like, she is definitely not into this process. At least that's what it comes across as. So Dominique says that, she, says they talked, and she didn't find him, shy like they said, but she found him to be very sassy. Now, I don't know what McKinley had going on that night, but he was probably being fresh. You know what I'm saying? So she says her mom, she tells him her mom signed her up for the process, and if she wants to, if she thinks that McKinley is committed to the process as she is, she feels like it can work, and it can. And then his mom says something about, I think it's nuts. So she's not into this process at all. Then they asked about if they would move back to Michigan, and Dominic is like, that's kind of far away from my mom, so I'm not sure about that. So yeah, Dominique, when you get married, and it's a compromise. You can't just get up and follow people around. However, it is a compromise. But if there is something where your husband needs to move, you're going to have to be accommodated. You leave and cleave to your husband. You leave your mom and you cleave to your husband. Your mom is going to be okay. That's what FaceTime is for. That's what the phone is for. That's what traveling is for. You got to kind of move away from just being up under your mom, Dominique. I get it. Being close to your mom is a wonderful thing. However, your mom is not going to always be here, and you do have to live your life. So Clint tells Gina, now we're back to Clint and Gina. So Clint tells Gina's brother that, Gina has alleviated all his anxieties. So I do have a picture of him talking to the brother. Let me find that for y'all. But yeah, he's talking to the brother, and he said, Gina has alleviated all of his desires. She's everything that he ever wanted and more, blah, blah, blah. So Clint's friends are asking Gina, if she's attracted to him. And, she says she's typically likes tall, dark, and handsome. So that takes Clint out of the running. So basically she was saying, yeah, no, I'm not attracted to him. He's not my type. So then back to Gina and her brother, Gina's brother and Clint. So his brother's wife is also there, Gina's sister-in-law, and she asked about, what is his deal breakers? And he said, it's going to be, he wants to see how they deal with conflict. So he's already talking about conflict. So we already know he's going to probably be the combative type, or he likes to see how they argue. But I want to see, their communication style. Like I said before, I feel like Clint is one of those condescending type guys in an argument, and that he'll probably try to, I think he'll hit below the belt when they have arguments. And I don't like that. And I don't feel like Gina's going to stand for it. And I hope she doesn't. But I don't, he just reminds me of Mitch 2.0. If you know Mitch from last season, he gives me Mitch 2.0 vibes. So the sister-in-law, says in their confessional, her name is Isabel. She says the deal breaker for them, she felt like, or the red flags that came up, is that they were Clint and Gina are very similar. She says she feels like that's going to be a big issue for them because they are so similar. So Gina's brother, worries about their time together and them both being busy all the time, because Clint has his sailing and stuff, and he wants to travel and do that sailing stuff. But Gina also has worked for her hair salon, and she does a lot of running around with that. So he feels like there might be two ships passing in the night. And Clint feels like, with the conversation, they can work through it. Now, this whole conversation with Clint and the brother and the sister-in-law of Gina, I and I feel like he is a salesperson. If I'm not mistaken, I think he does sales tech stuff. But he came across when he was talking like a sales guy. I can't stand salespeople. Like, and I used to do sales, but it just felt like a sales pitch of what he was saying. Like, overcoming, those overcoming, always be selling. That's what one of the things that we always say, always be selling, overcoming those objections. So he was overcoming those objections, but to me, it sounded very salesy. And I think that's what he does for a living. Comment down below if you remember what Clint does for a living, but it did come across to me as he was a sales guy. So now we're back to Chris and Nicole's family. So Chris meets with Nicole's parents. And, Chris says he's a straightforward type of guy. And Nicole's dad does not like the idea of married at first sight or anything like that. He feels like Chris could just be saying these things. He could really be the serial killer. And he's not into this process. And he was like, even though Chris seems nice, he was like, there are nice people who have turned out to be serial killers. So Jeffrey Dahmer was nice, I believe he said. And I believe Dominique's mom said the same thing about McKinley. So I don't know. I think Chris I feel like it's the real deal. He definitely likes Nicole, and I don't think he'll do anything to harm her. If anything, Chris is going to be that guy that is going to probably be too accommodating, and it's going to be a point where that's not where I want to go. It's going to be a point where where is his backbone? I feel like that's what's going to happen. Like where is his backbone? So I feel like that's going to end up being the issue for Chris. And I've said that before. So Nicole asked Chris, how Chris was, Chris's family, how he was as a kid. And they say, Chris is a nurturer. He's a nice guy. But Chris's, I believe that was his brother, said, he has a tendency to get all consumed in his relationships, and he forgets about himself. And so Nicole says she took that as she needs to make sure that she protects his heart, and that to encourage him to have his own life. And so Chris's dad was like, look, he just laid it down. He was like, if this ain't gonna work, please don't prolong it, just end it. Do not prolong a bad situation. So I really like that he said that. Now here comes the drama of the night with Aerys and his family, and their interrogation of Jasmine, which I did not like. So Aerys, asked about how Aerys meets with Jasmine's family, and he asked about how Jasmine is, is she, how she is, and her dad, says like when she's as a cheerleader instructor, she's a sergeant. But he was like outside of that, she can, slack on some things. She's not as, dominant as she is with cheerleading. So her dad basically tells Aerys like, look, I'm giving you my daughter. You need to do what's right by my daughter. That's basically what he said. And Aerys was sitting there looking like, let me see, here's a picture of him. So this is Aerys, talking to the parents and stuff. And the dad was being a dad. I enjoy Jasmine's family. They are a very tight-knit family. I love them. And I really don't want Aerys to come in and just change, the dynamic of that or anything. So I think that that I hope that he incorporates himself into Jasmine's family because he is the only child. It may seem a little foreign at first, but I think if he really integrates into Jasmine's family, he will fall in love with Jasmine because he's going to end up falling in love with the family. And I can see the family taking him in like a brother and like a son. And I really hope that he really does what he should do towards Jasmine, but I'm not convinced that he will. Unfortunately, I think Aerys is very selfish, in my opinion. I feel Aerys is very selfish. So now we're talking about Jasmine and in her interaction with Aerys's family. So she meets with the two cousins and Aerys's mom, and that's Aerys's mom with the blue hat. She's very pretty, and that's the meddling cousin in the white with the dreadlocks. So Jasmine, Jasmine says everything got real when she walked down the aisle for her, and it just really hit her that, oh shoot, I'm really getting married. So Felina, the cousin, she talking about, I think it's crazy. Ain't nobody asked your pot to boil. Ain't nobody asked for your opinion. She thinks it's crazy. So producers ask, her how she feels about Aerys, Aerys's wife, and then she busts out laughing and walks off. Like, girl, it's not even that serious. She walks off, which is very disrespectful, and she just laughing, her little fake laugh, and she said, "I'm laughing at the fact that you said wife. That is his wife. That is his wife, bitch." I can't curse, but that's his wife, B. That is his wife. So you need to respect her as such. So she asked Jasmine why is it important for her to do this whole process, and Jasmine said she was ready to find her person. And so they, of course, asked about any previous relationship. She said, she broke up with someone 7 months ago, and they used to live together. And so it is very soon. But what Jasmine said, they said that is very soon. And is she sure that she's over it? And Jasmine says, I am sure that it's over, because a lot of times you really break up before the actual breakup. She said the breakup is the timestamp, but prior to that, you've already mentally, and physically checked out of the relationship. And so Felina basically is saying, oh, that's a nice little pageant answer. And I'm just like, can you just take it you don't know her, so you don't know if she's being genuine or not. All you can do is take it what she says for face value. But she just had to keep saying, like, you're giving me all these pageant answers. Jasmine is a good one. Jasmine is a good one, because when I tell you, I would have said something right back to her. I would have met her energy. It would have been a problem. When I say a problem, it would have been a problem. And Jasmine and Aerys needs to get his cousin under control, because at this point, she's becoming very disrespectful, and that's his wife, and he needs to protect his wife. And so Felina says she's, concerned with her about her not thinking the questions through, and it says, I'll be praying it works out. And I'll be like, bitch, don't even pray for me. Don't pray for me, because we don't need your prayers, because we don't know what you're praying for. You could be praying for our downfall. So that's a note for everybody listening. Everybody don't need to be praying for you. Don't let everybody pray for you, because you don't know what their intentions are behind those prayers. So yeah, I would have told her, no, keep your prayers, because clearly your energy towards our relationship is not positive. And we only need positive energy and vibes in our relationship, because of the way it is starting. They need all the positivity. They need the support of their family, and not for someone to always be chipping away at everything she says. It's ridiculous. So let me get off my soapbox for that, because I don't want to make this video too long. So we're back at Kirsten and Shaquille. Shaquille says, they, after they debrief, Shaquille is saying, her friends were on another level. And Kirsten said, look, I already kind of told you they would be on one. And she was like, Shaquille talks about, him always feeling like he's the strong one, and, having that strong Black woman, strong Black man syndrome where, I can't show my emotion. I can't show my emotions. I can't show that I'm hurting, because I have to be the strong one. And I hate that. And that's something that we put on ourselves. And that's also something that society puts on us. I even see it in corporate. Like, I'll get dumped on, but if someone of another culture, let's say a white woman, if she's crying and saying, "Oh, I'm getting too much work," oh, they'll help her, because, oh, she's crying, she's a damsel in distress. But you can handle it, April. We know you got it. You got it. You can take on more stuff. And so that's how it happens, because they always see, oh, you are the strong Black woman. And no. No, I'm soft and supple just like everybody else. I get tired just like everyone else. So, Shaquille talks about that. And so they make a pact to, check in on each other. And then, because Kirsten says she's the same way. She has the same issues. So they're going to check in on each other and make sure that each other is good when we see that there could be an issue with that. So I like that dynamic. So Aerys, that's the other cousin. So Aerys is talking to Jasmine. So Jasmine came back and she is like, you could tell she's not feeling the whole interaction she had with the family. And, Jasmine tells Aerys that, Felina don't like her pageant answers and that she says, you know, she kind of flips it and she says, I just see that she's very protective of you. And you're better than me, Jasmine, because I would have told Eris right then, you got to get her under control because it's going to be a situation and I'm trying to prevent that from happening. I respect that being your family. However, you need to get that thing under control, if you know what I mean. So she says she feels she is being authentic. And Eric says he hoped, their relationship would get better over time. And, Jasmine says, at the end of the day, it's up to us to make this work. So, yeah. So Jasmine says she's going to get her vacation braids. And, the couples are, find out that they're going to Jamaica. So, yeah, Nicole asked Chris, are we gonna have sex in Jamaica? And Chris is like, well, you will see. And, I'm hoping that Chris kind of lets his guard down and just lives in the moment. And if you just happen to fall up in Nicole, then go ahead and do it. That's your wife. So Shaquille tells Kirsten, oh my God, I felt so bad for Kirsten. So Shaquille tells Kirsten that, I'm trying to find a picture of it. So Shaquille tells Kirsten that, they won't be able to, they get their package. They're so excited. They're going to Jamaica. They're putting on the little hats and stuff. And then dun, 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 Shaquille tells Kirsten that we won't make it on the first day. We'll get there, but I have to do something in Mississippi for his doctorate program, and I have to go speak and do stuff for his doctorate. So you're going to go with me to Mississippi, and then we're going to meet them in Jamaica the next day. So Kirsten is like, what? And I don't blame you. Like, I'm looking forward to going to Jamaica, and you telling me I got to go to Mississippi and sit in a hotel while you do your schoolwork. Like, you should have did some time management, and I'm pretty sure it was unavoidable. But dude, we should have talked about that. Like, don't let me get this package and get all excited, and then next thing you know, I can't. You telling me that we got to wait. So the couples meet each other for the first time, and they find out that Kirsten and Shaquille will meet them a day later. So Nicole acknowledges that everyone seems to be getting along. She likes the energy so far. So Aerys asked, Jasmine, she had pre-check while they were getting on the plane, and she does not. Jasmine, girl, get your life. Pre-check will change your life. Get your life, and also get global entry. Because going out of the country and having to stand in them lines, global entry will also be a lifesaver for you, Jasmine. You got to get up on your passport in global entry and pre-check game. So, Aerys jokes. He said, "I ain't gonna leave you. I'll stick with you, but girl, pre-check is a game changer." So McKinley says he has anxiety not being in the first class, and he doesn't like to sit in the middle seat. So I guess I don't know why Dominique just didn't get up and give him the window seat or the aisle seat. I don't know where she was. It looks like a window seat, but yeah, he has anxiety he likes first class because it's only two seats. And I'm with you on that, McKinley, because I don't like strangers on my row either. And I like to be in first class as well. I like to be able to board and sit down and get comfortable. And I'm so on that, or Comfort Plus. I don't like to go anything below Comfort Plus. I need to be Comfort Plus or higher. That's all I'm saying. And if that makes me a snob, then I'm a snob. So Kirsten, is stuck in a hotel in Mississippi, and she was like, he definitely has some making up to do on this, and I totally agree with you, Kirsten. I totally agree. So as they go in and look at the nice room, the room is very nice. It's nice and luxurious. It appears to be up to everyone's standards. So Aerys goes and finds the bathtub, and it's like a big old bathtub with some jets, like a jacuzzi bathtub situation. Very nice. And I couldn't find a picture. I wish I could. But he tells Jasmine to go get the grapes and feed him because he's a king. Girl, uh-uh. Jasmine said she kind of repeated like, you want me to get what? And then she was like, yeah, I'm a king, so feed me some grapes. Now he could be joking. He could have been joking because he's got that dry humor a little bit. But no, I would have said what we will do. I'll join you in the bathtub and I'll get the grapes so we can eat together. You ain't just about to have me dropping grapes in your mouth. You ain't got to that status yet. I don't know you and you haven't corrected your cousin yet. So when you start acting like a king and start protecting me, your queen, then you'll start getting grapes dropped down in your mouth. But until then, you have to show me that you're a king. And so far, you have not. You have not. So what I'll do is go get the grapes and we'll sit in this bathtub together and cuddle and eat the grapes together. So now Nicole and Chris, they end up having a heart to heart. And this is Gina and Clint. This is kind of what the room was looking like. It was a nice little setup. So Nicole and Chris, they are having their heart to heart. And Nicole is talking about, they were in the bed talking about how unlovable she feels because of her past relationships. And she reveals to Chris that she felt so unworthy when she was in this relationship with someone. They said, if you really love me, you'll let me burn a cigarette on you. And she did it. And, Chris was like, feels like he could definitely be open with Nicole because he opens up and tells her about, he was in a relationship. He went with someone, I think, out of the state, out of the country, some vacation type situation. And the girl wouldn't even talk to him, barely talk to him, wouldn't even touch him, just made him feel less than. And so these two are really, and it's not trauma bonding because trauma bonding is something different, but these two have some similarities in their previous relationships. So I feel like this is going to end up bringing them together, hopefully, and that they can grow from that and they can be what each other need and what they were missing in those other relationships. So it kind of ended there. I can't wait to see what the rest of the honeymoon is going to look like. It looks like it's going to get down with the get down. Kirsten and Shaquille should eventually get there. So, all the couples will be there at one time, enjoying each other. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Like I said, so far, I'm enjoying this season. What would you rate this episode? I would probably say I would give it about an 8, 9, and I'll give it an 8 because I did enjoy, maybe 8.5, because I did enjoy that it was a little bit shorter and it seemed to go by a little bit quicker and it was easy. It just flowed a little bit better for me. So it left me wanting more. So that Married at First Sight producers, yes, stay in this arena. I enjoyed the hour and a half. So again, this is your girl, Absolutely April. If you enjoyed the content, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. It has been a pleasure talking with you today. I don't want to belabor the point, and I will see y'all in the next video. And one thing I was thinking of, it was another quote before I let y'all go. It's like, know your worth and add tax. And that's what I thought about when I heard Nicole talking about, feeling unlovable and stuff and things of that nature. Know your worth and add tax, and don't accept nothing less than that. So until then, I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.